Hello, I'm TheNerdySteve, and welcome to my movie review channel. If you like what you see, I'd appreciate you liking, commenting, or subscribing. Today, I will be reviewing the Alto Knights in one take. So, let's go. Vito Genovese orders an assassination against former best friend and current rival mob boss Frank Costello. However, the attempt is not very successful. Now, Costello tries to navigate this political turmoil and mafioso machinations to remove himself from the game and retire safely with his family. The Alto Knights is not like your typical gangster film. I don't mean that in a bad way, because to me, it was not a negative. But the film is exceptionally slow and without a lot of high stakes action sequences, which you wouldn't think because the film starts out almost immediately with the assassination attempt that is the main conflict. But after that, it's pretty much a Cold War of subterfuge. The film is almost all bark and no bite, but when it does bite, it is pretty brutal. And I think that might be the biggest criticism of the film. If you're not interested in the domestic politics of what's going on, it might not be entertaining. I, however, was really fascinated and enthralled, not only with the dynamics of the mob itself, but how Frank Costello was dealing with the actual politicians and navigating those deals and how he was dealing with his own life. He had a lot to juggle, and I loved watching him struggle to do it all. The movie has a lot of exposition and is told non-linearly. There are three timelines kind of going on here that can be a little clunky. Not that the storytelling itself was clunky, but how everything was threaded together seemed to be a little muddled or unnecessary. There's the most recent version of Frank recollecting these expositional moments, and I'm not sure how much I really loved what he was adding to the film. Also, I found the literal changing of scenes to be off-putting to me sometimes. Like it would slowly fade to black, then the next scene would start. Maybe this happens in movies often, but I don't think I've ever noticed it as much as I did here. Of course, the true standout of the film is the wonderful Robert De Niro, who plays two roles as both of the leaders of the crime syndicate. If you want to see him perform, he does an absolutely excellent job here. I went into this film not knowing he played both roles, so throughout I was like, wait a minute. I think it'd be easy to say that the roles are similar, but I think that'd be silly. You can be cold and calculated in different ways, and both Frank and Vito are very different variations of cold and calculated. The entire cast is excellent here, but I think he truly outshined everyone. There's a portion towards the end where Frank is in a car and being very lackadaisical that I found laugh out loud funny, but I was the only person in the theater to find it that way. One of the bigger problems in this film is that there just isn't a lot of material given to the characters to really shine a light on their differences. And that's because the film is kind of flat in plot terms. The assassination attempt is the start of the film, but it kind of feels like the climax because so much of the story is setting up and revolving around that point. So it can feel a little dull when they're building up to something that already happened. Now, the real resolution of the film might also be a little underwhelming for most people because it's very subtle and not what you would normally expect from a movie like this. Again, I liked it. I liked how it was different. However, I know why some people might see it as unfulfilling. I felt all the characters got what was coming for them, and that's what I wanted. Overall, I enjoyed the Alto Nights. Was it a little slow? Yes. Was it a little clunky? Yeah, it was that too. But I think Robert De Niro's performances were incredible. He's still doing it after all these years. And the political intrigue this movie swims in was equally as captivating. The movie has violence, but it's not as violent as one might want or what you might expect. It's a very slow burn of a film after an explosive opening, but I found it worth it. Your mileage, however, may and probably will vary. I'm the Nerdy Steve, and thank you so much for watching. And as always, like and subscribe and comment below to tell me how right or wrong you think I am. Have a wonderful morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are. Bye.